Hello, everyone. I am Jessica Koch and excited to be here. So the magical process of linking Zoom to YouTube is an adventure, and yet again, we have made it. I am Jessica Koch with Profound Professionals Interview Series. I have the passion and love and joy to feature amazing individuals from across the globe. We actually have some people from the UK and Australia coming up in the interview series process. We've done people out of Canada, so all across the country and the world. And our hope is to feature these top amazing individuals in their industry, as well as the causes and the things that they care about. And today I have the honor of being with Earley Goldstein. She is the founder of Soul Wisdom Enterprises. Thank you for joining me today, Laura. How are you?
I'm well, and thank you for having me. This is so exciting. I've never been live on YouTube before.
So there you go. We are live on YouTube for all to see. So tell us a little bit. I love that there's a bright shining, it feels like a sunshine behind your head.
Okay.
I am seeing out the window the beautiful bright sun shining on the trees. I am promising myself a full weekend off this weekend. I think since the things have changed in the world and more of us are working batty hours and around the clock, it's kind of bizarre. And I think some people are also getting a respite. So I think there's like two tides of the team here that are happening. But tell us, please, like where you're from, a little bit about you, and all the amazing interest. I love what your business does, so I can't wait to get into the soul piece of everything that you do.
Okay, well, I'll do a little personal introduction. I hail from Miami, moved up to Annapolis, Maryland in June.
Brought your palm tree with you, I see.
Yes, got the palm tree. Although I did live in Alaska for a couple years in a Yupik Eskimo village, so I'll talk a little bit about that when I maybe get into my story. But yeah, I live here now with my soulmate and my 3 fur babies. So that's where I am.
Well, fantastic. So tell us about how you got into your industry, and tell us a little bit about actually your business as a whole, because it is kind of a unique talent and service that you provide. So share with us what Soul Wisdom Enterprises is.
It is. I'm a reader of souls, an intuitive advisor. I'm also a spiritual teacher. And what I've come to recognize is that we're always seeking answers. You know, we're seeking answers as to what is my purpose in the world? What are my gifts? What is the best way for me to show up? How can I create this result in my life? And we get these answers. We're actually given these answers, but it requires us to actually listen and know ourselves. At soul level, we have to listen to that soul voice, our spirit, who is our beacon, our guiding force. And it's always telling us how to get what we want to create out of life as a divine being. So I have just really incorporated my ability to read people and to teach them who they are and to teach them how to connect to that voice within so that they can go forth and create a business they love, to create whatever it is in life that they love.
Oh, I think that's really beautiful. And I think so many people really do need that guidance of, where is it that I want to go? You know, what does light up my soul? And I always say it lights me up like a Christmas tree, just because when I'm doing my thing and it took me a long time to find it. And I think the other interesting piece was I also needed that time in order to have it. So to have the gifts that are around it, to have the knowledge and the skills and the contacts and just the whole way, my whole process and everything I do in my business now that I love so very much. I needed this journey and this time to get here. So I guess sometimes I needed to soak in that first to be done, right?
Yeah, and that's a little bit of why I'm doing what I'm doing, is because I was like one of those people. It's like I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I was trying all these different careers, and I knew I had this greater purpose, and what was it? And I know that timing does have a place, because to be honest, if I had known about myself what I do now, like back in, I'd say like my early 30s, I probably would not have been ready to do the work anyway. I mean, it's a decade later that I finally understood what I could do, but I'm confident enough to work with other people because I've actually been on that journey and I've actually experienced it.
So describe to us a little bit more like what it's like to go through this process, this kind of soul reading that you're able to provide, and what happens, and the transformation some of your maybe clients have gone through, just from a high level perspective, obviously not an actual client description, but just what you could share with us so that we could really understand where this goes.
Yeah, it's kind of like the fast track to knowing who you are. Um, there is something to be said for self-discovery. It's a journey, and that's how I got to where I am today. But my work is really for those who like know that they're ready, and they're like, oh, I'm ready for this. I'm kind of doing this. I like it a little bit, but there's missing pieces of the puzzle, and here it feels like I'm beating my head against the wall. So it's basically a fast track. I'm giving out information and telling them, from an archetypal ego perspective, what are your strengths? Because even though our monkey mind, the chatter up there, can be very loud, and sometimes our greatest critical voice, it also does have strengths. And when we align to that, we experience less resistance in what we're doing. So I can read people, I get the information, so I can teach them from an archetypal perspective their gifts. I can teach them at soul level, what are your strengths? What is your purpose? Not a job, because people think purpose is like, oh, it's one job. That's not what we're talking about here. But I can help them have a really great understanding of who they are, to make shifts in their life. And I'll give you an example. I was working with a prominent physician in Miami. He was the director of operations at this hospital. And he was so funny because he's like, this is confidential, right? Nobody's going to know that I was talking to. I'm like, no, I think, like as a doctor, it's like, here I am talking to like this woo girl who's reading my soul. um, but he was feeling lost and stressed, and while he was good at crunching numbers, he really missed the connection with his patients. And his wife actually threatened to leave him if he didn't get some help, so hence he found me. And so he
Takes some sort of crisis, right? Someone actually, sometimes to stumble into the real focus to go to someone like you and work through the process, you have to lose your job, a broken relationship. You really have to like come to some big event to say, okay, I guess I need to do something because I'm at the dead end point here where I am. So in order to move on and to do anything else, I have to address this. And a lot of times for big changes, that's absolutely what has to occur.
Yeah, well, that's what occurred. So, I don't have to work a long time with people, because I just give information, and then we talk about, okay, now that we have this framework, how do we tweak it? And come to find out, his greatest strength was compassion, and he was really great at working one-on-one with people. Yes, he happened to be good at crunching numbers, but that was not what he was really created to do as a divine being. So that's why he missed being with his clients. But he also had some soul level skills that really connected him to like how plants grow and their nutrient properties. And I was like, what is up with this? You have this special connection with nature. He's like, oh my god, I've always wanted to go into Eastern medicine, and I'm really fascinated by Chinese herbs and blah blah blah. And so, long story short, his time with me gave him permission to let go of being that operationals director, to going back to patient work and really stepping into that gift of compassion, but also doing what he needed to do to shift from conventional medicine into more Eastern medicine. And he did send me an email about a year after we worked together. He actually he's happy with his wife, all is good. They actually moved to, I think, Tennessee, so that he could be like near these organic farm things. And he's got like his holistic practice. I mean, it was like such a shift, but the information solidified who he was, showed him the missing pieces so that he could connect two and two together to move forward.
I love that story. That's awesome. So you have a great gift that you're giving everyone that you'll be able to find in the link in the description below, as well as on the LinkedIn article. You had some videos you're sharing. You have some workshops maybe that are coming up, or can you talk to us about what's next? So if I am this person, I'm hearing this information about you, and I would totally love to go on this journey and have my soul read, which I love saying that because just the sound of it sounds so cool. And work with you. What are some of the ways that that could happen? And tell us a little bit about the video gift too. So.
Yeah, I do work in a variety of ways. I offer workshops quarterly, and so that is a way to. It's a group format. It's a way to get a jump start. I always offer my archetype and soul design reading that is ongoing, because I believe that anybody who wants to know that about themselves, can do that right away. And it's basically like a Zoom call. It's fully recorded. It's one-on-one, just kind of how we're talking now. So I have that. I also have some online programs that are more designed to help people. Like, now that I know who I am, how do I connect to myself? How do I use my body, to understand what my intuition or my soul is speaking? So I get a lot of inspiration to like create courses and programs. I'm a teacher. So I just have a variety of things, and it depends on, the season, what I'm offering in terms of group programs. But if you get on my email list, I'm always updating and offering different things. And so I like to mix it up.
And you provided some free videos that'll be in the link and the information below. Can you just share with us a little bit about what's inside those?
Yeah, it's 3 steps to discovering your purpose and gifts. So I break up the process and talk about how you can understand the information that you can get about yourself at the ego level, the soul level, and a quick little activity to help you start that connection between that voice within, kind of getting away from this and stepping into a place where you can listen to yourself.
You talked about living in Alaska and a little bit more of your story and your journey. Can you share some of that with us? I'd love to hear.
Yeah, that was part of my journey. I mean, by trade, by formal schooling, I am a licensed psychotherapist. So I did traditional psychotherapy for a long time, but I was really getting burned out, like going from place to place. I was doing a lot of community work, and my husband at the time got laid off, and divine beings, we were like, there's got to be something more. We both ended up in a Yupik Eskimo village, wanting to have this adventure. And being there, I was really in a role of being like a village school therapist counselor. So I was still doing that traditional role, but the environment was so unique. I mean, they drop you off in like a little plane. I mean, we are in like Bush, Alaska. Tourists don't go here. They drop you off in a plane. We had like a post office, the school, a community center, and like a store. That's it. And it gave me a lot of time to do some soul searching and get the noise out of my head. Because while we had internet in the school, it was very expensive. You didn't have it at home. The 3G, 4G didn't work there. So you're like back to the old, flip phones. It really allowed me to just be in quiet and hear myself for the first time in a long time. And then I started to sort out, oh my gosh, this is what I like, and this is what I don't like, and I have this ability to do X, Y, Z, and I had a mentor that kind of helped me through that. So it's when I returned from that, I was like, quit the regular psychotherapy practice. I was actually working with a lot of teens using tarot and oracle cards, because it was the only way I could get them to talk to me. And I just saw the profound results that teaching them who they were, teaching them how to connect to themselves, made on all of their symptoms and their emotional trauma. So, and then it just kind of stemmed from there and grew. And I love working with entrepreneurs and professionals. So that's kind of what I'm doing now.
That's fantastic. I love that story. I feel like there have been times where I think listening, is a real challenge for me. I work hard at listening to others and genuinely listening, as well as listening to myself. Even my conversations with God, listening is my hardest piece. I can talk all day and all night probably, and probably without ceasing. So talking's not the issue. But communication is a two-way channel. And so I have to work really hard based on my personality and just how I'm wired to listen. And I have had times where I've heard myself and I have tried to muffle it and say, oh no, that's not happening. That is not the direction we are going. I am staying right here where it's safe and warm. I am hiding from, all these things that I hear myself saying, oh, this is what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be doing this and this and this. And there's actually still some things I am not doing that I know are in the design plan. And I just haven't gotten there yet.
I mean, it can be scary because we're often guided to do like really scary things. That's how I got divorced, is after I came back from Alaska, my soul was screaming at me that this is not the right relationship. He's a wonderful man and we got along well, but we wanted different things and we needed to go our separate ways to be happy. And I was like, oh, but I have my house and, he's a nice guy and, what the hell is this? But I mean, it was screaming at me to the point where I would start to get physical symptoms. So we're sometimes called to do really scary shit that we don't want to do. But once we do it, it's like what you can get on the other side is totally amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's really kind of the story of the birth of my company. I had no desire to own a business. I had no desire to ever work again. I had planned on keeping my husband very busy and being his marketing person and really not, being employed by anyone else. Running my own thing was not even on the radar. And when I started to rear its head, I was like, oh no. I just went around helping people for free, literally, because that's how much I did not want a business. I was like, okay, I'll help you with this, but I'm not wearing a business hat. I refuse. And here I am very happily now wearing a business hat. So I know it just took me a little while to listen to myself and go with it. And to other people I was listening to. So, it's very cool. I love what you do so much. And thank you so much for your time. One of the big purposes that I began this interview series in 2018 was to also not just feature amazing people like you that do such great work, but also to talk about things that beyond work make your heart sing. So can you share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm a big animal welfare advocate. I have great empathy for animals who have been abused, mistreated, that don't have the control to actually leave their situation. It just breaks my heart in some aspects, and I have great respect and admiration to animal conservation. People who are working, humane society, and even in other countries, working on animal habitats and trying to protect endangered species. I just have respect for that whole thing. And recently, I have a Facebook friend that moved out to Roatan, Honduras, and started an animal rescue shelter and was having some struggles with some of the locals and was getting like threats and stuff like that. Because sometimes in other countries, they aren't as receptive to people, doing such service. So I've actually really been supporting her project for the last year or so to help her,
Fabulous. You talked about having fur babies. You want to tell us about your amazing pets?
Yeah, so we have 3 fur babies. We have Babbles, who's our Mr. Fatty, and the hunter of dead things. He'll hunt slippers and
So
little,
cats, right?
yes, little cats.
Okay.
And little Giovanni, he's a little troublemaker. He kind of gets into everything. And we have Callie, who's a new addition. We lost our female calico back in January, and I swear our female calico sent us Callie because we took her in from a neighbor. And she's such a strange little bird. She's like, love me, oh but don't, oh but love me, oh but don't. She's got this whole void approach thing going on. So we're still trying to learn her.
We're
Still trying to learn about her, but yeah, so that's what we have here. We have our little cat farm.
Well, that's so fantastic. Well, I hope that everyone watching decides to come and have their soul read, I know I'm very interested in trying to set some time up to do that with you, even though I feel like I've found my thing. I just think it's such an interesting concept. And, you know, knowing yourself, I feel like we always can go a little bit deeper with that. And it turns into something different. For me, it's much like reading the Bible, where I've read the same passages, you know, for the course of my lifetime, but every time I come across something different at a different time and stage in my life of my personal development, it means something totally different to me. And I feel like that's kind of what it could be as far as working with you, that, you know, you might come and work with you once, and then 5 years from now, if you worked with you again, or 3 years from now, or whatever, you came back and revisited the process with you, I think you'd find something completely new or deeper, or, you know, more, just more profound, based on being at a different point of self growth and improvement as we roll along, right?
Well, absolutely. And, you know, my work too involves looking up like things that are standing in the way for people. Cause, you know, people will know who they are and they're like, gosh, you know, I just feel blocked, though. It's like, I want to start, but I'm like sabotaging myself. So a lot of my work too does involve looking up, hey, what are the patterns that you're stuck in? What are some of the subconscious beliefs that you're stuck in? And that, as you know, is always an ongoing journey. We're always wanting to, you know, take our business, ourselves, whatever, to the next level. But we also have to do some of the inner work to get rid of that, you know, gunk that's just standing in the way. So yes, it can be ongoing. Absolutely, there's always something to learn, something to remember, and something to clear or get rid of that's no longer serving us.
Yeah, I love that. And so please, I hope you guys take advantage of the amazing gifts she's giving with the free videos that are below. Reach out to her, follow her email, follow her newsletter, watch her website for the programs she has coming up. Just reach out and connect and see how you might work together. I want to thank everyone for watching. As always, you know, show your love with action, like, share, and comment, and subscribe. We will be having this as in an article on LinkedIn. It'll go out to Twitter. It'll be on Facebook. We'll pull a hard copy of this interview. It'll also go live on Facebook, and some of the information will then be in the comments if you're looking for those links. Please feel free to reach out to me if you think you are a profound professional that needs to be interviewed, and or you know someone you'd love to nominate. I am looking, especially in Australia and UK and Canada and beyond, globally, for more guests. Thank you very much again for being here. But right before we say goodbye, Laura, I would love for you to share one last nugget. So inspiring quote, a book, something you do that really has transformed your life, one last gift and nugget for everyone watching before we say goodbye.
My last nugget is that you hold all the answers. If you are searching for truth, for validation, for who you are, and other people, places, and things, you're not going to find them there. So take the time, go within, because everything that you need to know is there.
I love that. Thank you again, Laura, for being with us.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
So next time on Profound Professionals, check us out, follow the other shows, and we'll see everybody later. Bye.